and the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the district. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Carrie, please call the roll.
Sanderson.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Bertles.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Carver.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes. With the motion approved to reconvene to open session, Carrie, would you please call the roll?
Bertles. Here. Sanderson.
Here.
Ahart. Bauer.
Here.
Brian.
Yeah, here.
Carver.
Yes. Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Proctor.
Here.
Beatty.
Here. Okay, I would like to welcome everybody to this evening's school board meeting at this time. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, got a bit of a new format tonight. Okay. Let's see, I will entertain a motion to approve the March 9th, 2026 agenda as it has been presented this evening. May I have a second?
Second.
Carrie, please call the roll.
Brian.
Yes.
Carver.
Yes.
Bertles.
Yes.
Sanderson.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Beatty.
Yes. Okay. Dr. Duncan will provide some superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Pady. So I want to get caught up a little bit bored. We've gotten backed up with the superintendent shout outs. A lot of community members have reached out. So I wanted to add this in today so our people got their recognition. The first person that we would like to kind of celebrate is Miss Shania Cox. A parent said she is at our school. Actually, this was a teacher. She's at our school, and I thoroughly enjoyed the morning meeting she did with our students. I loved her lesson on Mae Jemison that she read aloud with the whole school. In the text, Mae is always encouraged to dream, and she can do anything she wants. I love how Ms. Cox paused her reading and reminded Nelson Tigers that they can also dream big, work hard, achieve their dreams. It was such a personable and interactive time. Of course, on a daily basis, she helps our students and teachers with all the things technology in her role as a computer fairy. Today is just another example of how awesome she is working with our students. Just so you guys, she is also a tech coach, so that's why they call her the computer fairy. And she works at all of our elementary buildings. We can save the applause for the end. The next one is Miss Rebecca Kern. Board member, she is a new AP at the high school, just so you guys know. This is her first year here. And one of the teachers at the high school said, I want to write you about Miss Kern. As a teacher, we often easily find fault with our administrators, but it's sometimes harder to find the positives. Miss Kern is the exception because I can only find positives with her. Miss Kern is a step above any other AP that I have worked for. She's an admin for my personal kids, so I have this perception as both an employee and a parent. I also observed Miss Kern on the MEL team at the district level. She has intelligence and intuition about kids and learning that cannot be taught. Mrs. Kern is an asset to our high school and she should be celebrated. She has definitely been a welcome addition to Edwardsville High School. The next teacher we would like to recognize is Mrs. Heather Hall. This is from her parent. Our daughter Nora is in 4th grade at Castins Elementary. From the moment she transferred from Glen Carbon Elementary, we had felt a true sense of Ohana at Castins. So Ohana means family. That's their motto there. A culture of joy, excellence, and family created by Ms. Beavis O'Neill and Ms. Morgan and embodied by the entire staff. Nora had an incredible experience last year with Ms. Bogner, whose enthusiasm made learning fun and engaging. Though Nora was sad to leave her, she was thrilled to join Mrs. Hall's class this year. From open house onward, it was clear that Mrs. Hall is a special educator. Her former students lined up to greet her, some even bringing her poetry that they had written. Throughout the year, we've seen her create warm, family-centered classroom built on calm, joyful instruction, and even during e-learning and holiday chaos. What stands out most is Mrs. Hall's individual care. Her feedback is thoughtful and encouraging, and she spends time writing notes, adding stickers, and giving personalized guidance. When Nora missed school for vacation, Mrs. Hall's response was excitement, not inconvenience. She prepared, organized materials, added supportive notes, and even tucked a post-it note in wishing Nora a great trip. When Nora was homesick today, Mrs. Hall checked on her, scanned in Nora's actual assignment so she could pick him up right where she left off. Mrs. Hall consistently goes above and beyond, modeling everything we hope for in an educator. The next one is Mr. Thomas Lillard. He is new to the district. I think Mr. Thomas has been here for probably a month now. He's the SSO here at Liberty. Today, my child and our orthodontist had an orthodontist appointment because both of us needed to be at work. A family member came to pick him up. Unfortunately, we had not yet added her to the approved list after our recent loss. My child shared that as he was getting ready to leave, a school safety officer, someone he had never met before, stopped him and asked a few questions to confirm that he knew the family member and how he knew her. I truly cannot thank you and safety officer enough for taking his safety and the safety of all students so seriously. He noticed something out of the ordinary and took the time to make sure my child was safe, which I deeply appreciated. And this came from Mr. Rick Thompson. He's the SRO at the high school. And so he really wanted to make sure that Mr. Lillard knew that he went above and beyond. Next, this is kind of a big congratulations, our Winter Guard. The EHS Winter Guard in February, they won the school's first ever regional championship. So this was a huge, really big deal, big first for them. Congratulations. The next is Miss Kathy Hymos. Miss Kathy Hymos is a teacher at Nelson, 2nd grade. She truly cares about the success of her students. She has gone above and beyond to help my daughter succeed this year. She searches for the root of the issue of why a certain concept is hard to grasp and finds a way to teach it. We've never had a teacher that cares so deeply about a student's progress and learning abilities. We feel so lucky to have her as a teacher during such a pivotal time in a child's life. Thank you to District 7 for acknowledging the above and beyond that some of our teachers do. And then last but not least is Miss Hildebrand. Just wanted to say thank you to the paraprofessional that was in my son's class. She helped my mom feel welcome last week during the friendship party. My mom said she was so friendly, warm, and really seemed to care about my son. My mom said she seemed genuine with all the kids and how she cares for them. I just wanted to make sure somebody knows that this person is a welcome addition to District 7. So again, board, these are just so awesome to hear the good things going on in our buildings, and they look forward to the ones next month.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
You forgot one.
Which one did I forget?
The one that says Dr. Duncan on it.
Which one says Dr. Duncan on it?
There was one that came in through email I thought that you should be recognized for. It's about a student who had some trouble at Liberty. I'll just read you some excerpts from it. During my time at Liberty, Dr. Duncan and Mrs. Kronbacher became two of the most important adults in my world. They met me early in the mornings when arriving at school felt overwhelming. Dr. Duncan allowed me to sit in his office when I simply was too anxious to be in the classroom. He didn't treat me like a problem solver to solve or disrupt to manage. He treated me like a person who mattered. It goes on and on about I don't want to give away too many details, but about how caring that you are, how you continue to follow up with them, and that you really, let's see, I'm trying to find the spot in here. Dr. Duncan was always present, always caring, and always a person of character. So just a shout out to you for what you did, for what you did.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. And that's it for me right now.
This is becoming my favorite part of the meeting.
I agree.
Okay, on to, at this time, the board has set aside time for anyone wishing to address the board. If you would like to, excuse me, the script. This is my least favorite part, to read this entire thing here, but it's necessary. I'd like to remind our public that this portion of the meeting, for a maximum of 60 minutes, time is reserved for comments from the public in accordance with Policy 230, public participation at a Board of Education meeting, and petitions of the board as follows. This will be the only opportunity to address the board during the regular meeting. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. A screen timer will be provided. Individuals may not defer their time to another speaker. If your comments are about matters involving students or district personnel, please refrain from disclosing names. Please understand that the board will not respond to questions made during public comments, but may direct the superintendent to address these questions in a district communication or at a subsequent board meeting. Please remember that the board generally needs to gather additional information about any questions or concerns prior to responding or taking action. At the conclusion of the meeting, if you have additional questions for the board, please see the board secretary. Okay, and we've had a sign up. And Carrie Palladino. Did I say that correct? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening. I wanted to come here tonight to implore you to take a hands-on active role in all curriculum approval and time allotment for K-5, along with serious considerations of giving us more plan time, not by extending our day, but by giving our kids the opportunities at every grade level to receive art, music, PE, and adding libraries as specialists and taking some of the responsibilities off the teachers by adding more staff like counselors, social work, and interventionists. The explicit targets of this discussion is giving a clear picture of what the new inquiry-based curriculum does to students in the classroom, this new educational climate, sharing ideas to add plan time for K-5. We may have the shortest day, but we have the most subjects to plan for, 7. And I also want the board to know I come to you all, not the old board. You are a board that questions before approving. You act as independent thinkers and are working with an acting superintendent that has shown how much he cares for our district and is open to honest dialogue. Mr. Patey, in the past, you have said some things that stuck with me, and I was happy when you were voted in as president. You mentioned following up on initiatives that were approved. That is one of the smartest things we could do to limit stress, time, and money. Go to the teachers and ask if this initiative is helping or only looks good on the outside. You also questioned how much stress new curriculum could add to a teacher when another new curriculum was brought up for approval. I will tell you, we are stressed. I want to bring this up now in hopes that every new initiative for K-5 is put under the same scrutiny as a new softball field. Also because K-5 begged for additional plan minutes, but the opposite happened and affected our time negatively. So we have had a deduction in 30 minutes a week. Remember the strong initiative of best practice of creating relationships with our students to form a better classroom community and get the best version of our students? Well, we, the teachers, are the students in this sense. We would love to see that same attempt to form relationships where we are listened to as the professionals and shown respect for our precious, precious time. The curriculum department has not only taken away more of our contract time, but they also think it would work well if we went to after our non-contract time too, and are shocked when we don't agree and are giving us a guilt trip about not showing up at 7:30 for grade level meetings. Please give all teachers a survey if they want these meetings. We're currently discussing alternatives in teacher advisory, but I'm wondering why K-5 is the only teachers asked to do this. So in the current contract, we actually receive less time. What do you think that communicates to our K-5 teachers? Lastly, there's currently a large amount of curriculum staff outside of the classroom at the district. Education and the current student are nothing like they used to be. We are not just teaching. We are being asked to provide emotional support, crisis response, parent therapy, paperwork machines, data manager, interventionist, and tech support. The job has changed, expectations exploded, and the support has disappeared. Please send interventionists to do our win time and take over Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. Stop using a screen or online program for math intervention. That is not what is best. Also, please send the people who make the decisions for the classroom teachers into the actual classroom to shadow or sub for 1 to 2 weeks. It has to be experienced to be understood. Therefore, there is no one better at making decisions for what is best for our students than teachers. So please give us that respect. Stop letting this, Thank you. And I was giving you a printout of what this looks like, K-5 curriculum, whenever. Dr. Duncan and I had a meeting about this already. So it's just the same thing.
It's all good.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay. Okay, so that's all the people that signed up. Is anybody else wanting to speak? Okay, cool. Give me a second to pass this and we'll move to the next topic. Okay. This time I'd like to invite Tricia Lenore, Curriculum Coordinator, Amy Burian, Science Teacher, and Melissa Barnett, Science Teacher, to join us to discuss EHS Science Updated Curriculum Resources. And I apologize if I said your name wrong. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone again.
Nice to see you as well.
Thank you. Tonight we have EHS science curriculum. We're going to be looking at physical science and we'll be also looking at earth science. So in our science curriculum review, we've looked at, we have one more teacher. Slide over just a little bit. So in our science curriculum, we looked at several different things. We broke up our science curriculum over time to look at each discipline and each one off individually. And tonight, like I said, we have physical science and we have earth and space science. So we've looked at several different publishers throughout this, making sure that we hit all Illinois state standards as well as the next generation science standards. And we looked at Savvis, McGraw-Hill, and Cengage specifically. What we did in that time, though, was we also rearranged our scope and sequence to align better coherence, and then we looked at some best practices that were offered as well. In our selection process, we looked at a couple of different things. Not only did we look at the scope and sequence, but we wanted to know whether or not it aligned across grade levels, and if it aligned vertically, which means that literally we want to see if it spins into the next. So even though you think of science as separate disciplines, they have some overlap in certain areas, and we want to make sure that those overlapping things we didn't do the same thing in different classes. So we took a look at the textbook, the digital platforms, the real world applications, hands-on labs, things that could be rigorous across each discipline. So for physical science, just to give you a little background, what we did is we wanted to separate physical science. It's a semester course at the high school, and we thought it would be best to give students an opportunity if they wanted to either go to chemistry after it or physics after it, that they would have enough foundational information if we split the classes in two. And I would let Miss Melissa Burnett or Amy Buren tell you how they did that.
Okay, so as someone who's taught all of the semesters except life science, it's very content intensive whenever you have physics and chemistry together in the same semester. And so the hope is that by splitting it, it allowed students who maybe aren't necessarily interested in the math part of it to step away from the physics and look more at the chem, and then vice versa. But the nice thing is that there's a pretty decent split between the two. So we worked with another teacher, Craig Olau, to kind of look at, hey, like content-wise, where we have some overlap, so like electromagnetic spectrum, stuff like that, where can we kind of make a clean break for these two semester classes? And so as chemistry teachers, we kind of looked at, okay, so these are some of the things that we cover in our chemistry class, and like how can we adapt that for a semester class, as well as content-wise, what are some of the essentials that we want them to know if they decide that they want to go on and take chemistry, the year-long chemistry further on. So, and then physics-wise, like I said, there's a pretty clean split. So I don't teach physics. I mean, I could, I guess, but for that, it was just a lot of, like I said, the math aspect of it. And so it was, because right now what we kind of saw happening is a lot of physics and then just a couple chapters that they would get to of chem, since it was such a short amount of time.
I don't think so. Thank you.
One thing that we noticed previously, though, with the physical science is that some of the hands-on labs they weren't getting to. So what we inspired to do was to also create lab kits for those students to be able to do those labs. So you'll also see that piece of it as well. Earth and space science, I'm going to switch over. Earth and space science is with Thomas, and what we noticed with Earth and space science is they get it in 8th grade, but if they take life science in 9th grade, and physical science in 10th grade, and potentially chemistry, they wind up on his doorstep in senior year, having not seen Earth and space anything standards in about 3 years. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to make this course not only the fundamentals, but the extension of what they should be able to see in Earth and space. And I'll let you speak to why we chose Cengage as our publisher.
Yeah, so we were looking through the different options, and the Cengage option, I think, did the best job of reintroducing those topics again and not starting at such a complex level, giving us something a little bit more to build off of. Another thing that we noticed was the online platform was a lot easier to use, a lot more user-friendly than the current one that we have. I don't have many students who use the online version of the text now, just because it's just hard for them to navigate and get through the book, which the Cengage book is very user-friendly. So, yeah, that's why I've been leaning more towards the Cengage book, and why I want to go through with that one.
So as we looked at the support for instruction, we noticed not only user-friendliness of the platforms, but we also looked at some of the things built inside of those platforms. So for example, one of those things is Actively Learn in our physical science text and platform. What that does is it gives the guided notes. It provides students with the vocabulary. It provides students with the opportunity to, they missed the lab, they have a PhET lab simulation that they could do the lab as well. And so all of these things built into the platform gives us that opportunity to have an equitable, systematic approach to moving forward with our students. So it is our recommendation that the board approves both physical science and earth and space science through Cengage, physical science through McGraw-Hill, and then various vendors that we selected to purchase our kit items from in order to build the kits so that the students would have those ready-made, ready to go to learn about physical science.
What kind of things would be in the kit, for example?
It's a lot of, well, some of it is like additional chemistry equipment. So things like test tubes and stuff like that we would have to buy anyways. But some of it's just modeling things. So like Legos, pony beads, stuff like that, because we do a lot of modeling in chemistry and we want to pass that on to like the semester courses, because they shouldn't get to miss out on that if they even decide not to take chemistry. So just more of the hands-on aspects of it. Trying to think what else we know.
To me, it's really the manipulative part of it, right? So chemistry is really tough for kids. It's not, you can't see individual atoms or molecules.
Right.
And so this is the way to make it more tactile for kids.
Do you guys already have microscopes and stuff in the classrooms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I know we are kind of limited on that aspect, but I think with the life science, I don't know if they were planning on what the life science budget had in it, but we do, but there's a lot of sharing between, because we have so many bio teachers and then we have a bunch of life science classes, so, but yes.
So Cengage would then encompass between years 9 through 12 each year, so that Earth and Space, you're not suddenly thrown into senior year by not having some type of touchdown on Earth and Space?
Yeah, so Earth and Space is technically a class that I think any grade level can take. The problem is that like in middle school, from conversations I've had with some middle school teachers that we've had at, curriculum meetings, is there's two things happening. One, they run out of time to get to a lot of the Earth and Space content, and two, not a lot of them are comfortable with it because it's not what they today. And so it's either just run out of time issue, or they don't necessarily like teaching it, so they don't do as in depth. And so the textbook would allow kind of a little bit of a bridge of that gap.
Okay. But it would be, Cengage would be the platform that was used for earth science. Every science course has its own digital platform depending upon the textbook. Does that answer your
Yes,
question?
yes,
Okay.
that clears it up, yeah.
So is there a slide that shows how much everything is, or is that?
Yeah, that should be number 3. Next one. There you go.
Okay.
So collectively, the cost would be $65,875, which includes our physical textbooks, 6-year digital access to the platform, and then the kit materials as well for both physical science, chemistry, and physical science, physics.
Okay, and it seems like I ask this question every time,
okay.
and it's the same answer, so forgive me. So, physical textbooks,
Correct.
is that the core of the program, or is that just, if people need it, then they can give it to them? I mean, are we digitally focused, or are we physically focused?
This is our differentiation approach, because some students want that physical textbook in their hands. We want to provide that option, and we also want to have the option of the digital component, so that when they take it.
So it's not like we're focused in one direction, there just happens to be checking the box books over here on the shelf just to say we've got them?
Correct,
Okay.
or for homebound students.
Okay.
I have a lot of students who prefer hard copy textbooks.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
we're at home with the chemistry
Yeah.
book, and everybody's just like, we're so glad we have the book.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Kind of static understanding.
yeah.
Now, is this budget for both?
Correct.
Okay.
But, I mean, the textbooks are only being bought per class, so there would
Right.
only be like 42 textbooks, like physical textbooks for each classroom, like teacher.
So number of students going through that class, though, what you're saying is there's not enough books to cover
Each and every person.
each and every
Correct.
person. It's only for the people who ask for it.
Correct.
How many typically ask?
I think, honestly, I think it depends on rigor of the class. So like my AP students, most of them will ask for a hard copy of the textbook. Chemistry right now, we automatically assign one at the beginning of the year. But like my honors astronomy students, I have maybe a couple that will ask. And then whenever I taught the semester classes, most of them, they would just use the online one. So I think it just depends on, I mean, hate to say rigor, but sometimes it is just what they're emotionally invested in the course.
Right.
So the students who want one will ask for one.
And I would have a really tough time, like, I was part of our last curriculum review, and I'm not sure what everyone else did, but I know in chem, we ordered enough books for every student who passed through chemistry to have one. And I don't give my students a choice. I'm like, take it home. If you open it up, great, and if you
Right.
don't, that's okay too. But this way, when your internet goes out or the power goes out, you have no reason not to have it.
Right.
Right, right.
So,
Right.
and then I already have enough AP Chem books, so all of my kids get one, but they have a summer assignment too, so.
So a common thing that I hear a lot, and maybe we're going off topic a little bit, but for teachers that have spent a good portion of time teaching with physical books and then moving to the digital, the transition and sort of, obviously it changes the way you have to teach, but do you find from a comprehension level and a retention level that there's a difference between the students that have the physical book and go through the digital? Because that's a common issue that I hear a lot, is that, it just seems like it's harder to remember learning it digitally. And do you experience that as well, or?
I'd say to a certain extent, yeah. I mean, I think that students who have a physical copy of the textbook have something, like you said, like tangible in front of them that they can go through, that they can, they have their little sticky notes, they can make notes to themselves and stuff like that. And I don't think a lot of students necessarily know how to utilize a lot of the aspects that a digital platform offers. And so like my AP book, like it has, like, you can sit there, you can highlight anything you want, and then you can click on the notes, and it'll tell you all the notes you did for every single chapter, all of that. But if they don't know how to utilize it and
Right.
study from that, then it's gonna be difficult. And I think having a hard copy of the textbook, like, we were kind of like, oh, we only get a class set, because we do have a handful of students who would prefer and would benefit from having a hard copy of the text.
Well, and maybe it goes back to the previous question also, right? So I could easily see where kids have 6 different classes, all with a different digital platform that they're trying to navigate also, so.
Right, right. It's almost like if you're a Windows person versus an Apple person,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
my kids hate working on my Apple because they're like, this, I don't know how you deal with it. But going from one class to the next, I mean, a completely different like thought process, and you're kind of having to slew your whole mentality to the thought process that went into building that. So I can see that.
I assume there are tutorials for like utilizing some of these note features in the digital platforms.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever I pull it up, I know how to use it, right? So I just like, no, I don't need that tour. No, I don't need that tour. No, I don't need that tour. But like, I have 3 different platforms for each of my classes that I teach, and it's one links through Schoology. The one is not even through Schoology or through Clever because it's Pearson, so it's technically a college level text, and then one goes through Clever. So they're all, so we actually, whenever, like, next month, Kim, right? We actually liked the fact that I could just link it straight through Schoology, and then there's not extra Clever, and then they have to figure it out, and they can just go to the course, they can click on the link, and it takes them right to their online resource.
Yeah, I hear a lot of complaints about that, having to go through, Schoology to Clever to, it just, yeah.
And so actually, I think the Cengage goes through Schoology, so
Okay.
it's one less step for them.
Awesome.
Maybe I missed this, but when was the last time this curriculum was updated?
2019.
2019.
So knowing that we're getting a limited number of books and there's a potential of running out, what's the backup plan if we run out? Is there a certain minimum order to order more books?
There is a certain minimum order to order books. I think you have to order at least a class set, which would be 30. Our class sets vary a little bit more just because of the traditional class size of that class. So yes, we would look at that and see if we need to order, but they also, each year, we put out inventory lists. So if the teachers say, hey, we need more books, then we respond. Can I go back to one of your questions? When you go to the digital platform, in some textbooks, they have the option to adjust the reading level. So again, we're talking about semester classes, and
Okay.
you can't adjust the physical copy
Right.
reading level to where that particular student, whether it has IEPs or anything like that, would be able to understand the text and still move through the class successfully.
Do the teachers get like a notice, or is there some kind of indicator that the ones that have been sort of changed that way? I mean, where the reading level has been adjusted or something, so that you're informed on
Well,
kind of where
typically
everybody's
the-
coming at it from?
Typically, the teacher has to,
Okay.
has
Does
to,
it physically do that?
correct.
Okay.
In the back end of the settings, they would go in and say, hey, this student, and this student needs a lower reading lexile level, and assign it that way.
But that would probably come to you earlier in the form of IEP or something of that nature. Okay. Okay.
Yes, it was one of the things that we liked about that, about the, what is it, the Inspire one?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was- yeah.
Is there the capacity also for it to read to kids if they have visual? Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice. Okay. There's benefits to both.
Yeah.
My last thing is, I forget which meeting it was, a few meetings ago, a board member asked if we have a list of curriculums that were coming up, and I believe you guys were working on it. I just didn't know how close we were to getting a curriculum list of, hey, these are our upcoming updates.
The schedule for the
Yeah.
next, like,
I do have that.
Reviews.
You?
I do have that. I don't have it with me tonight, but I can forward that to Dr. Duncan.
Okay.
Yeah, Tara and I met last week about it, and it's just more about how we want to break it down to you, because these are kind of one-offs, like singleton kind of classes. Then we have the big overarching curriculum reviews, but we can get that to you.
Do either of our high school students here have any comments about looking forward to either of these programs, or?
I know that I definitely prefer like a actual book.
Yes.
I can't read on a computer.
Yes.
So like it was very helpful for me to be able to take a book home and have my own book.
I've had the chance of going on like the Pearson thing because I take anatomy, and it's a good website, but it does take like a lot to get into and like navigate. Like we had to make a whole separate account at the beginning of the year. So I will say like the online stuff is good for the resources that it provides in some extent, but like sometimes I don't feel like I use it as much because it like is a little bit of a struggle to get into.
Even when I'm in class, like, I'll have my computer right in front of me and I'll still go get a book from the back of the class because I would rather have a book.
That being said, when you go through your curriculum review, do you ever take the account of what is working for the students, not necessarily the teachers in class?
Absolutely. Absolutely,
And how do
because
you gather that information?
we gather that information as they're working through their research. Because we present the resources, so that we go through the pros and cons of all of the struggles that they've had. And then we say, well, okay, what are our non-negotiables? What are some things we're just gonna get rid of? We're just not gonna do anymore. It's not best practice. And what are we gonna pick up? And so we start finding those resources that kind of align with our non-negotiables and what is best practice. And we find a meeting in the middle. So we absolutely hear what they say.
And then when you form your committee, does every teacher have the opportunity to be on the committee?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if somebody has an opinion about whatever curriculum that you choose and they chose not to be on a committee, it lands upon their responsibility to speak up.
That is correct.
Okay, so,
And most of the time, they bring all of the things that we talk about in these meetings back to their PLCs, because some, again, it's them that they have to work with other people as well. It's not, very rarely do I have an entire PLC on a curriculum review committee. So again, once they bring that back and they say, hey, well, we talked about this in PLC and we have a concern about X, Y, and Z, then we address that as well.
Yeah, so we have a total of 5 chem teachers at EHS, and so 3 of us are on the committee. So when we met during PLT last week, we had the demo account from Inspire Chemistry, and we pulled it up. We kind of looked at all the features. We talked about the benefit of Alex that corresponds with it, and so, and then we kind of chit-chatted among ourselves. And like, this is where we think we're going, but if you have some objections, we're willing to listen. So at least that's how we've handled it within our own department.
The cost there, that's a one-time, and the 6-year digital access is baked into that, right?
You got it.
Okay.
But won't there be costs with upgrading the kits too routinely?
Most of your kit supplies are
They're
dollar store
non-consumables.
consumables.
They're what?
They're
Yeah, but they break
non-consumable.
things, and I mean, I remember having kits in
Or
chem
loose pop beads,
specifically,
the
and it's
poly
like,
beads, they're gonna be all over the floor. The janitors are going to sweep those up.
And those are usually things like I had to pick up supplies for one of my AP labs like today, so those are things that we just fill out the receipt reimbursement form for, because they're small little things.
Those are budgeted materials, so those will be
Gotcha,
put in the
gotcha.
budget each year to replace.
so like if they lose half the Legos, you just go,
Mhm.
where's my team in right now?
Okay. I don't have any more questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, we have a first, at least since I've been on board. I would like to introduce Gene Birdsall, Assistant Director of Technology, who will discuss our phone system upgrade.
good evening.
Good evening.
The mic goes out, we have no one to fix it since you're here.
I know, right? It's like,
Dave's back there.
it's like, cut him, Dave.
James
Okay,
Jeff
go ahead.
You get 3 minutes.
You got it.
So tonight we're discussing the phone system upgrade. Our current, little bit of history about the phone system. In 2000, we installed the first phone system in the school district. Every classroom had a phone, had voicemail, everything. In 2007, the company that installed the initial system, Intertel, was bought out by Mitel. In 2015, we went ahead and upgraded to the current phone system, the MyVoice Office 250. And then in 2025, they told us the support's going to end for our current system. So what we're looking to do is to go ahead and do the upgrade. Reasons why is our current system out of support. There's no any replacement parts for our system. So if we break something, they're not manufacturing power supplies or anything, telephones, anything like that anymore. So Mitel, Intertel, we've had them around for 26 years. They've been a good partner with us. So when they said we're gonna need to upgrade, a couple of the other reasons why is so we have the ability to reuse some of our existing phones. When we added the 3 remote sites, Mark Twain 1, Mark Twain 3, and Manny Jackson, we bought a number of IP phones for those offices, knowing in the future that the IP phones are the way you go. It's the common practice in every business nowadays. Right now, we're using the older digital-based phones. So in this current upgrade, obviously, new phones for the classrooms, new phones for the offices. We reuse the existing phones that we have. That reusing the existing phones saves us about $20,000. There are some conference phones that we have in each building, one of each building. It's probably another 15 to 20,000 in savings. So you're looking pretty substantial savings on upgrading over trying to go out and get a new system. The budget for this year, in this budget year, was $750,000 for a new phone system. We spoke with Mitel. We got all the discounts. 25% discount for upgrading. There's about a 22% or so discount for going through a Sourcewell. It's kind of like the like a cooperative agreement, so we get an additional discount going through that. The final numbers are $628,442.24, and that upgrade is included in this year's budget.
Is just for the phone system itself, or for lines and everything?
So the lines we have existing, we'll use the existing data lines. The IP phones will go over just like the desktop computers. So you actually connect the phone, and then the line goes from it goes to the desktop, and both are active. So we can use the existing wiring.
Nice.
Kind of one of those things where you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
the first one we got 15 years out of, this one we got 10. When we brought the current one we're using, it was kind of the last system that Intertel had built before Mitel had purchased it. So it was still able to use some of the old phones, kind of the same pattern we're using. This system is more modular, more upgradable, so we're hoping to get 10 to 15 years out of it.
So I assume at the next meeting is when we'll approve the package. When do they start working on it?
So they can do it kind of in twofold. The back end part of it, what goes into the server rooms and the main brains behind it, they'll start doing as soon as we sign. They can do that work. Kids are in session, there's no interruption since it's a separate kind of system. And then this summer we'll go around and swap out they'll go around and actually swap out all the classroom phones.
So how many phones are we talking?
So we have 810 phones on the quote.
Okay.
That's two separate phones. One phone that's kind of the style that goes in the classroom. It's got a small display. And then the ones that go in the office areas have a slightly larger display so you can see better color ID, voicemail, stuff like that. And then we have the approximately 40 phones that we're moving when we go to south.
Right. So by the beginning of next school year, it'll all be
They'll all be brand new
installed.
phones, all be brand new systems,
Okay.
new voicemail.
Now, does the voicemail system, does it, like, somebody leaves a message and it emails the person to let them know, or?
This system has the capability to do that.
Okay.
We do not do that right now.
Okay.
It's just something we haven't set up.
All right.
But the option is there.
Okay.
Is there a learning curve for employees, or is it gonna, to them, the same, pick up the phone and use it as they've been doing in the past?
It's pretty much the same, pick up the phone, hit outgoing to get a outside line or a 5-digit number. We're gonna keep the same extensions inside the entire district. The keypads are modular, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna program the keypad to look exactly like existing. There could be a couple small differentiations on what it does, and we're gonna print out a quick list, give everybody a quick list of the documentation. So it's as close as we could probably get without having to relearn the whole entire phone system.
Cool.
Is it linked to the platform that we utilize for emergency evacs?
It
Or is
is
that a whole different platform?
The crisis code?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a separate
nothing
platform.
ties into it, okay. And then, safety feature, nothing to add to it while we're integrating a new system?
Like a panic button, maybe.
Yeah, there's a certain feature on the phone for our teachers and staff that
It's programmable. We just haven't discussed it internally if we want to have that feature. At times, these phones are just, they're sitting on a desk. So in certain situations, if you would have a panic button, if it calls 911 or an emergency service, you could have some false positives.
Okay.
Just, or something gets set on the phone.
Sure, yeah, okay.
So in certain situations, it's probably applicable, but not in certain classroom situations.
Okay.
Does it have the capacity, like if somebody couldn't touch the phone, could they basically holler across the room, call 911 or something like that, or no?
I don't believe so.
I was thinking more like Alexa and all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
check, but I don't
okay.
think
It's
these
okay.
particular phones do.
Okay. There's enough phones in that classroom with the kids.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Awesome. Okay.
Here's Legino, easy.
Yeah. Dr. Duncan and Mr. Courtney will discuss transportation with the board. I gotta finish my screen there.
Anyone seeing Dave?
I think he's out.
Yes,
I think
he's over
I think
there.
he's out moving some cones. So.
All right, so as we talked about in late September, early October, we were beginning to do an analysis of the transportation system. The goal of the analysis is to improve the efficiency of our transportation system. The last transportation study was approved by the board and implemented during the 2011-2012 school year. The district's enrollment has declined by approximately 500 students since the start of the 2019-2000 school year. So what that means is we do have inefficiencies in our transportation system since we haven't changed since. So this fall, the fall of 2023, we began doing what is called a ridership audit. And what a ridership audit means, the bus drivers will literally have a pen and paper and they will track every student that is supposed to be on the bus, every student that's supposed to be at the stop, every student that's supposed to be dropped off at the stop. And so what this does, it tells us, it gives us very hard data to tell us if the students are riding the bus and if the students are using the stops they're supposed to be, that they're assigned. 8 audits were done during the 24-25 school year, and then 5 audits were done 25-26. And so as we comb through the data, and just so you guys know, this has kind of been a group effort. Bill Miner, SIUE, and First Student, we've all worked together to kind of come up with some of this data. We identified 3 buses that serve a maximum of 12 riders all day long. So just imagine you have a bus with 12 kids on it.
Is that all 3 buses are 12?
Each bus has
Each bus is
yeah,
12.
each bus has a maximum of 12 kids,
Okay.
but that could mean 5 kids could be on there as well. Then we have another set of 3 buses that serve 16 or fewer riders. So that's 6 buses that we know that we are not maximizing the seats on the bus. Third 3 bus routes have 50% or more of their assigned stops unused, representing a total of 213 unused stops on these routes. There are approximately 730 unused assigned bus stops throughout the transportation system. One theme that we saw is most of the unused stops are high school students. High school students are signing up for a bus route, but then they may ride with their friends, they get their license, and they stop riding the bus. So this is our high area of unused stops. For the fiscal year 26, the district transportation fund is projected to end the year with a deficit of over $350,000. For 27, the district is projecting the transportation fund will have a $900,000 deficit due to high proration on the state's reimbursements. So our goal heading into next school year would be to reduce our routes by 3 buses, and basically a bus is about $81,000, and so that would be our goal as we continue to do the transportation audits. As we begin to, so the next step is once we've determined that our bus system is as efficient as possible, then we can begin having the other conversations that we've talked about previously. How can we, is it a conversation of changing school start times? Can we do a 2-tier system versus a 3-tier system? But before we can even dive into that work, we have to make sure that our buses are efficient and that we have a sustainable model. So that is kind of where we're at in our process. What we're gonna do next is, so for the parents and students who we've identified who have not used the bus stops, they will get direct communication to them, so they know that we may be cutting the bus stops for next school year, so that they have an opportunity to then say, hey, my kid's gonna use a bus stop or they're not, so they will be notified multiple times of the changes in the bus routing system. Questions?
How do you navigate that when it's literally a moving target, where somebody is, in 8th grade one year, and now they're gonna be in the high school, and they require an extra stop that wasn't there before?
So the parents will report that to us. They have to say if they're gonna ride the bus, and then we route them. But these bus stops have never been used. So
Okay.
this is not a stop that's used like once every other day. These are stops that students haven't used the entire school year. So that's what's driving some of the consolidation of the routes.
And I think, if I remember correctly from one of the prior presentations, it's also where, we take a survey at the beginning of the school year and the parent said, hey, we want the bus stop, we plan on using it, but then it never gets used.
So typically, yeah, that happens in registration. So in registration, we typically put in a survey of if you're gonna use the bus stops or not. And what we found out is we're not getting real accurate information. So we're gonna use the data we have and then communicate out directly with parents. And let's say something changes. Let's say we get rid of a bus stop and parents like, hey, my kid needs a bus. They'll let us know, and within 5 to 7 days-ish, they'll be rerouted.
So will that change the actual physical route of the bus, or just the amount of time that it stops? So if I eliminate my stop, but yet the bus still has to go over here and go over here, it's not like they're gonna take a different route, they're just gonna speed past the stop.
So both, to answer your question, it'll
Depends on the route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could change the route, and it could either reduce the ride time or increase the ride time.
Gotcha.
So could you, and maybe you don't know this, or maybe you do, the buses that are being underutilized, your 6 buses, 3 and 3, what, in town, out of town, northern area?
Northern
Combination of
areas.
area?
Northern.
Okay.
Our in-town buses are, for the most part, running, we believe they're probably the most efficient routes we have. There's not a lot of wiggle room in those routes, but the northern routes are the ones that we can tighten up a little bit.
Will there be consideration about ride times too for lower grades?
Yes, we don't plan to extend any of the ride times.
Okay.
And what's the current maximum ride time?
Ooh, I knew you were gonna ask me that. I can't give you the exact, I will tell you it's under an hour. I will give you the exact, I can give you the exact number.
And it's north and by Midway.
Yeah, and we watch those
That's the
pretty,
longest one, yeah.
yeah.
So is the type of bus, for reimbursement purposes and cost, does the type of bus matter? So if it were a full-size bus, it gets X amount of miles to a gallon versus a smaller size bus or even an electric bus, would that change your reimbursement or cost of transportation costs in any way?
No. The cost of the buses themselves, like a special ed or a van versus a regular bus, they're almost exactly the same now.
Okay.
One of them's like $449 a day or something like that. The other one's $430 or $440. There's not a big difference. And when you do the reimbursement at the end of the year, it's based on the miles that are driven in the individual buses. It's not really. The only thing that we've used as a guideline is like for reimbursement, there is a differentiation between special ed reimbursement, which are usually the vans, and regular ed reimbursement, which is the larger buses. The proration from the state is different on those different reimbursements. And if you decide to put a regular ed student on a special ed van, then it becomes a regular ed bus.
So the per mileage rating is set, it's not, oh, this one's diesel and this one's gas. Okay, it's just.
Correct.
So it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
You don't get a benefit if all of a sudden they convert the buses to electric or something.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we had this discussion last year where there's a lag from the efficiency that you get from cutting a bus or reducing the routes. Then that's when you get the next year, you get the proration hit.
Right.
Because you've reduced the mileage.
Right, so when you, right, Bob, so when you get the full amount of the reduction the first year, but then the second year, when you go back in, then it gets kind of extrapolated back out of the reimbursements.
Yeah.
And that reimbursement max, if it was fully fully funded, it's 80%. But right now, we're running at prorations of 70, 75.
And that's just because the state
Because
kind
the
of
state,
changes every
yeah,
year.
and that's why when you look at that deficit number right now for next year, it's just projected based off of, from the initial budgets, it's like the funding that's going into those categories next year from the state is flat. But obviously the cost of everybody that are gonna are gonna submit claims next year, all those costs are going up, but the amount that the state's funding next year is the same as it is this year. So the operation's probably gonna get worse.
And who controls the reimbursement to the school district?
The state, the
The state,
legislature,
like the governor?
the House and
Okay.
Senate, yeah.
So I'm just
Voting
trying
on
to
the
figure out
budget,
from-
yeah, budget
from top down
appropriations,
or-
right.
Or if this
Yeah,
is set by law.
like the budget appropriations that were requested from ISB to fund those for next year, they're a lot less than that. Like, I think the transportation's flat, I think a lot of the categoricals is flat. There's some small increases. The evidence-based funding is where they're putting, most of their increase for next year is almost all EBF.
So, the plan, institute these changes, see how efficient, make sure the processes are good, and then use that to form your opinion about how effectively you can address those other 2 points on the list.
How many maximum students do you put on a bus? Does it?
It depends. I mean, technically you can get 3 to a seat on a middle or elementary and 2 to a seat in a high school, so it just depends. I can't remember the capacity. Is
Yeah.
it 70 something
Yeah.
somewhere? It seems like a big bus is somewhere around there.
And that's something we'll have to work through because you can put 3 elementary, but then we talk about potential, let's say we went to a 2-tier, we had high school and middle school, you really can't really project putting 3 high school, middle school kids in the seat. So that's just one of those things we'll have to kind of work through, what does that look like? Because if we went to the 2-tier and we can't put 2, 3 high school, middle school kids in a seat, that may increase the number of buses we need. So now we're talking about adding stuff to the budget. So again, there are a lot of other moving parts that are going to come into this equation.
And you've got musical instruments or book bags and other things, not just bodies.
Yes.
Would this allow us to be more fluid and pivot? So let's just say a quarter way through the year, we realize that, hey, the way that people answered the survey or the people that signed up for buses, half of those people aren't showing up. Does it allow us to pivot and redo the routes and say, okay, here's your notice, we're eliminating your stop, and allow us to then readjust to save money?
So one thing we're looking at is trying to find out or identify the most efficient, financially responsible way to do a ridership, because that's the key, right? Understanding who's actually using the buses. Right now, it's truly paper and pencil. Like when I tell you, like if you go in Bill's office, it's 550 pages of sitting of paper where these bus drivers have done this, and then Bill takes it and puts it. So we're trying to figure out a way if we can do it where maybe it's on their badges, and so then they scan it on the bus, so then that gives us up-to-date data. If we can get to that place, then I think we can really talk about having kind of like a live, more efficient, where you can maybe change a route in a week type of situation. But right now, I mean, it takes a lot of time the data that we got is taking a lot of time to get, so I don't know that we're there yet.
Gotcha.
But we would like to be there. That'd be a good goal to have.
But contractually, wouldn't the bus vendor expect us to have those vehicles for the full year?
It's all about the contract. you know, if we start off with a certain level and then. you
Right,
know,
there's a clause in there about, I think, the number of buses at the start of the year, and if it's reduced in the middle of the year, what they can and can't do. I think it's 10%, it's 5 or 10%, I'm trying to remember. If there's a
Penalty?
10% reduction on bus count or whatever, they can ask to renegotiate the price. I think it's 10, but it might be 5, I'm trying
Okay.
to remember, so.
Is there any way that the district could go outside that contract and handle, you know, if you have a bus with just 3 students on it, and handle those 3 students ourselves? On one of
There
our-
is a part of the contract that talks about utilizing other services. I know for activities, I just don't remember if it's for the specific transportation of students themselves. Like we have used an outside service to do middle school or high school after school activities when first student can't get a bus back to the lot, I guess, by a certain time if there's 9 or 10 activities going on and they all gotta be somewhere at 4:30. We've used outside people to do that before and they've let us do that because they can't meet the goals. So, it's referenced in that contract. I'm just trying to remember that off the top of my head what, but I know the activity stuff is because we specifically asked that to be put in the last contract when they weren't able to provide all of the after-school activity runs. And we have asked them to have a clause in there where we could secure an outside service if they couldn't do it.
But I didn't know if the district could employ their own fully licensed and classed bus driver, official bus driver, to drive one of the many shuttles that we have purchased that could take 3 to 6 students out.
It's a fair question, and we're investigating all of the transportation, including the, I mean, I brought it up, Matt, including the shuttle use as
Okay.
well.
But if you do something like that on a regular basis, not just a specialized basis, that would not be reimbursed? Would that be reimbursed from the state if you use your own bus?
Yes,
Okay.
it's just filed a different way, but yes.
Okay.
Have you all looked at, like other districts in the metro area to see how they're efficiently, conducting?
I'd say we have a little bit. The thing is we're just so different. When you look at our transportation system and the size, the scale,
Or any
our
comparable-
locations.
Any comparable
Yeah,
districts in the state?
We haven't specifically yet. I think, as Alan said, the biggest difference, one of them is with like the 2 and 3 tier system, like when we met with first student, it, because of the size of our district and the fact that we have so many routes that are classified as hazardous, even if one of the first things when you become efficient for those kind of operations is like now we can make, I mean, the state laws, you can walk 1.5 miles before you have to be picked up, right? We use 0.6 right now, I think is our guide. Most districts, if they took that 0.6 and went to 1.5, would be able to like wipe out bus routes. But with us, when we do that, it only impacts a small number of students because we have so many routes that cross over major state highways and stuff like that, that they're all deemed hazardous, so they have to be transported anyway. So it doesn't give you the same efficiency as
I guess I was more
possible.
curious if there were, even if it's in other states, but like if there are any, ways to kind of look at ways to study this that are effective, like ways to collect the data from the bus drivers, like because I'm sure there are other districts across the country that have these issues as well, not just.
Would it be what Bill has asked for is a ridership system that's automated,
Yeah.
so that it's a live document.
Yeah.
That now that costs
Sure.
to do that.
Or
And we've asked
markets.
for a student to give us some information on that, but and I don't want to quote them exactly, but I mean, they have some districts that use a ridership system, but they don't have as many districts as you would think that use a ridership, automated ridership system. Because we are unique to a lot of districts, they just don't have the issue with transportation because they're covering a such smaller area. And a lot of districts, like, you think of some of the districts that around here that are just elementary or middle high school districts, a lot of them don't even have buses. They might have 1 or 2 buses that they use because everybody's a mile and a half from school. And they don't need the transportation, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, because banner systems that scan are kind of the norm, and it'd be nice for lots of reasons.
It's very
Attendance and all that,
expensive.
we've talked about that a little bit, there's a cost factor though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive, and when we talked to them, they didn't tell us like, this is the way to go. It's more,
Right.
I think it's kind of, I don't want to say a pilot, but it's new, and so they're
Yeah.
going through the learning curve of doing something new.
Yeah. And for emergencies, it'd be really nice. But, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. When do you think we'll be hearing more?
Let me get back to you on that.
I'll hold you to that.
Joe Bertles told me never put yourself on the clock if you can't get there.
Okay.
You're a good listener.
Okay, cool. No other questions? Move on.
The next thing we just wanted to bring to the board's attention is we want to talk fees a little bit. Overall, we will not be increasing any fees that we charged last year. The only exception is breakfast and lunch, which is determined by the paid lunch equity calculation. So that's something that's kind of out of our control, slightly out of our control. I talked to Bree Gordon today, Director of Nutrition, and she said that lunch may jump 10 cents. Other changes, the district will not be paying any cohort fees anymore. So what that means is the Lewis and Clark cohort, last year we paid half for year 2 students. Now everybody coming through will pay full price. The SIUE cohort will be also, parents will cover that. We will still pay for all of our CTE classes that we have to offer off-site, and we'll also continue to pay for our dual credit that is done at the high school. But everything else will remain the same. I will get you guys, I'm waiting on one number to add to the sheet, and I will send it out in the board update, and you'll have every single fee that we will charge this school, or for the 26-27 school year. And then what will happen is you guys will approve the student handbook. The fees will be in the student handbook. So when you approve the handbook, you approve the fees. But you will get the fee document prior to getting the handbook, if that makes sense.
Is there any kind of financial assistance or scholarship or anything for those who want to attend a cohort class that may not have the financial ability to pay those fees?
I'm not sure
Yeah, because they're not eligible for financial aid till after they graduate, right?
Yeah, I have to look into, I'm not sure what the policy is for Lewis and Clark on that.
And if our
Nice to.
EGHM Foundation, if that's something that
And the SAUE cohort, the district did not pay anything into that on behalf of the students previously?
We did last year.
You did?
We are this year.
So you have up here the district paid half on Lewis and Clark. What was the amount on the SAUE cohort?
900 per student. Fee was like 1,900 or 1,800 and something. They paid 900 and we paid the difference. So this year for year 2, year 1 cohort, they're paying the whole amount. Year 2 cohort, since we had started paying half before, we continued to pay half this year, 25, 26. So it's like they pay 900 and we paid 944 or something like that, somewhere around there.
we were the only district paying half or full, correct?
Correct.
So we're just going on par with everybody else.
Yes.
Okay.
And how many students are you talking about? I mean, hundreds or teens?
And do they bill the parents direct, or does that come through this?
They bill them direct now. Before it came, when we were paying half, it was coming through the school district. So we were collecting half from the parents and the bill was coming directly to us. This year, for the year one students, the bill is coming directly from Lewis and Clark.
So Jill, looks like right now we have for the cohort, 84 kids.
Oh, that's quite a few.
Yeah, for the SIU cohort, we have 25. For a CAVC, 59. And then for the Lewis and Clark Welding Industrial Tech, we have approximately 43 kids. So
What was the first number, that 84 or whatever, what?
that's the Lewis and Clark cohort. That's
Okay.
the one the parents will pay for.
And so is the district continuing to cover any portion of the CAVC or the Lewis and Clark Welding?
All of it right now.
All of it? Okay. And refresh me on the SAUE cohort, is that a 2-year cohort or is that a 1-year?
That's a question that I'm not sure about,
Okay.
honestly, Alma.
But Lewis and Clark is
So
2
the-
years?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And so for those kids who have completed year one as of the end of this year
Mhm.
and have another year, if there are kids, to Matt's point, who maybe wouldn't be able to afford the full cost, are they not gonna be able to complete the cohort?
So let me make sure I'm clear. So these are kids that started, you're asking, started
Started,
the cohort,
district paid half.
and now they can't afford to stay in it. I think we probably have to consider that and talk through those kind of situations.
Ask the question again, Alma.
So, if my understanding is correct, it's a 2-year cohort. There are students right now who are in the Lewis and Clark cohort. As of May, they will have completed year one of the cohort.
Right.
And the district paid half for this first year.
Yeah. So the only thing that we're paying for in 25, 26 is the half of the kids that are in the second year, because we told them when they enrolled the first year that we were gonna pay half, both, we were
Okay.
gonna pay half. So we continued it for the second year. All the kids that are enrolled in it this year in year one are paying the whole thing.
Okay. So that was kind of already addressed.
Right.
Yep. Have you
So-
received any questions about, like financial assistance to date?
I personally
I have not either.
Oh, I just see SIUE cohort is typically 1 academic year long, which is equivalent to 18 months. So,
Yeah, the SAU thing last year, we're still trying to get that number, honestly. The amount last year was like $7,500 or something. It was really small.
$7,500 total?
For the whole year.
What's the difference between the Lewis and Clark cohort versus the CAVC?
So, what do you answer?
You're saying, what do they offer?
Yeah.
or
So-
how
I mean,
much?
So the cohort,
I can,
Yeah.
the CAVC is like your welding and your shop class, whereas the cohort program is all your core,
It's
like English,
Sonic.
math, like, the basic stuff that they'll get here, but they're also getting
Like associate?
getting
So
associate
yeah.
credit
Oh, college
for like,
credit.
yeah, college
Yes.
credit for the math and the English and
So it's not necessarily AP classes?
it's not
because-
necessarily
No, it's
AP
not.
classes, it's just college credit.
It's the
But- and
beginning
they
of their
go to
degree
the
for
campus.
college.
And if they go to, at least in Illinois, if they go to Illinois college, that grade actually transfers, not just the credit.
But to go to a class now, do they go to the school or do they stay at the high school? Do they go to the college?
They go to
They
the,
go to the college.
to the
Yeah,
college.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Here in Edwardsville.
yes.
So if they're taking a college class to get college credit, they cannot apply for financial assistance?
Like the FAFSA.
Yeah.
I don't think they can. I think they have to have their high school degree first, or a diploma first.
Okay.
I'll follow back up with
But there may be other money available. Can't speak to that.
Yeah, it'd be good to get answers on these questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, you guys will get a whole, we're just waiting, once I get SIU, you'll get a whole sheet, so you'll have it all, and you can look at it.
Cool. Any other questions about fees? Okay, moving on to 6.1. Board expectations. Okay, on February 19th, the board had a special meeting to conduct a self-evaluation with representative of the IASB, which is the Illinois Association of School Boards. Our meeting was to review the board expectations that had been previously approved in November of 2024. We've set aside time this evening to discuss the recommended changes. These are all the changes from the previous expectations that went through and have been redlined for, and hopefully y'all have had a chance to review. If you have any questions, we can review it here, but just for the general population listening, I mean, it just basically is just how we as a board are going to function with regard to working with the superintendent and how we engage the community and the ways in which we, try to make sure we have a game plan for various situations. So if anybody has any questions or anything, just please bring it up. Otherwise, we can move on, and this will be voted on with the changes already made at our next board meeting.
I just want to thank everybody that participated, as well as Patrick Allen, who represented IASB, because when we created these, like you said, 2.5 years ago, it was a lot of work that we looked at a lot of different models and this and that, but it was good to have an extra set of eyes on it this time with new eyes and give it some, massage it a little bit and see what we, after we lived through it for a little bit.
Right.
And it was definitely a good practice to go through, which the original practice is after every board election, it would be done, reviewed again. And so I think it served its purpose. I guess that's what we did in February. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's valuable. I mean, just any opportunity we have to get to know each other better and work through how we're going to talk. I think that's a good thing. So, cool. Anything else? Okay, Matt, you don't want to say anything?
No, I got it.
Okay.
I just hope we fix the justification so there wasn't spaces.
Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on to the action consideration portion of the evening. Approval of action item 7.1, Dr. Duncan.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve personal matters related to the resignations and retirement of employees as discussed earlier in executive session.
Okay, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Carrie, please call the roll.
Carver.
Yes.
Bryant.
Yes.
Bertles.
Yes.
Sanderson.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Patey.
Yes. Okay, approve of action item 7.2, Dr. Duncan.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve personal matters related to the appointment, employment, compensation, and transfer of employees as discussed earlier in executive session.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Carrie, please call the roll.
Sanderson.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Bertles.
Yes.
Bryant.
Yes.
Carver.
Yes.
Patey.
Yes. Okay, that's it for action items. Next meeting is there for everyone to review. Obviously, if you have any comments or anything, or need to add something or have suggestions, please let us know. And with no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.